Hi there, it's Rob here from the Gym 10. Hope you're well. Welcome to this mobility method training session. Today we're looking at the reason why hip flexor movement is really important. Our hip flexors are situated, strangely enough, at the front of our body, at the top of our hips. On the anterior side of our body, they're up here. And they come in a large group of muscles from our iliacus, our psoas minor, major, and our rectus femoris. The last one there helps with a bit of quadricep movement. The idea of the hip flexor is to be able to flex your hip and so allowing your thigh bones to come up towards your chest. So it's this big muscle group that works hard here. Grab yourself a pint of water and let's talk this through. Cheers. Take a sip. Okay. So from here, find yourself a space, checking around one way, checking around the other. And from there, letting people know you're taking part in a training session. Check above your head, make sure your hands aren't going to go into any light fittings. Okay, so from here, we're just going to work on some side abductions. So with our feet facing forward, a fist gap apart between those feet, toes facing forwards. What we're looking for here is our big toe to our little toe, square down to the floor, lifting out wide to the side. And you're just going to work through this movement here. So this is working our adductors, abductors to start off with, trying to get some release out of them. So our hip flexors, these guys can get tight. Keep working on your adductors. And so what can happen is these muscles here pull, they tighten up, and they assist in this anterior pelvic tilt position. You recognize that from your seating position when you're driving, etc. These guys can get very tight. As a result, we get some extra pull into the back of the hamstrings, and the quadriceps need to be released as well. But hamstrings, tight hamstrings, 90% of all back problems come from tight hamstrings. So keep working here, and you're working on this tick-tock movement here. Side to side, landing your feet a fist gap apart, driving your pelvis forward. Now, lots of really interesting articles about the importance of releasing off the hip flexors to being able to release off the pelvis for it to tilt back into the right position. So from here, the pelvis can, the hip flexors lengthen, dropping the pelvis back to where it should be. So if you've ever been advised not to run, or you've been advised to take it easy because you're getting problems in your groin or in your calves, maybe a bit of plantar fasciitis perhaps, check out these hip flexors and see how they work. From here, standing on the right leg, work out the left abduction kick out to the side. The feet stay facing forwards, the legs come back towards touching. And what we're just trying to do, keep working on that, is the muscles around the front here, we're trying to get them to separate out wide. We're swinging them out. We're widening the myofascia of those muscles. Now, the muscles don't run exactly parallel and straight. They've all got a bit of a twist and a turn, a wider joining at one point and a shorter ending back to that insertion point. Change leg over here. And so what happens is they're using a lot of strength to move our limbs up and about and around. Drive your hips forward, lift your chest, get that leg out wide. Now, can you keep this leg nice and straight, avoiding the flex in the knee? If you can, that's great. Keep working it here, strong, kick out wide, control the move back in. Two more here. One more here. And release, shake it out. We're going to roll the pelvis wide, big circle. Target here, big toe to little toe, square, flat down to the floor. Counterclockwise. Change it again. Trying to draw as big a circle as you can, as wide as you can with the hips. Trying to get the pelvis to swing round and concentrate on the area that you're finding the most resistance. So it could be as you drive your pelvis forward, it could be here right through the front of the hip flexors. Let's change the direction, go the opposite way. Big circle. Big drive round. From here, side bend. Side bend to the side. Big toe, little toe down to the floor. And from there, taking the feet out wide, drive your hips forward, lift your shoulders back, and lifting your chest up high to the ceiling. Control your movement and rock and hinge your backside behind you. Let's do this again. Hands on top of the pelvis, drive your pelvis forward, lift your chest up high to the ceiling. Now, as you rock forward, I want you to imagine that your whole of your upper body is staying in a straight line. And as you rock back, tendency is to want to arch. I want you to try and keep a fairly straightish line from your top of your pelvis through to your ears. Hinge, tilt. Back out, drive out. Hinge, drive. Good. Now, take note of what's happening with your feet. Keep working here. The toes should be in alignment. Feet nice and parallel. Hinge again. Drop. Lift, retract. And each time we're trying to get a little bit more movement of the pelvis to tilt forward, hinging here. Easy controlled movements. Hips drive back. Pivot on the hip. Cool. Shaking it out. Roll your hips. Just take a walk around. You should feel there's quite a lot more movement in that pelvis. Okay. Roll into the standing position. Feet fist gap apart. Lift your leg forward. Curl around behind. And repeat. Roll. Circumvent back. Feel what happens in that toe position. Brace the abdominals. Pull round. Kick back. Work it, repeat it. Should be feeling that standing leg really starting to get tired now. And release. Shake it out. Walk around. Good work. Change leg. Feet fist gap apart. Pelvis driven forward. Driving forward. Rotating, kicking back. What we're looking for is, can we kick that leg back straight and strong? Can we maintain our posture? Now can you drive the pelvis forward? Can you lift the chest? Use the other arm as that balance. So you need to take your foot wider on the journey. And release, shake it out. As you stand on your feet again and you walk around, you should feel maybe some discomfort in the feet. It's all normal. Shake it out. Let's go again. Left foot rotation forward. Bigger, wider kick around the move. Big rotations here. Taking the load through that standing leg. Keep the chest lifted. Rotate through the body. Standing foot always facing forward. Body controlled. Steady movements. One more here. And release, shake it out, walk around. Try and get as much arm movement into it to stabilize and becoming functional to what you're doing. Again, feet fist gap apart. Standing, drive the right leg across the body. Counterbalance with the arms. Keep the chest lifted. Keep the rotations wide. And make the noises as you're doing it. Because it's a good, solid, strong workout. Now, if you find you're going all over the place with this, check the standing foot. It needs to be facing directly forwards as you work through that range. Keep that balance, drive through on the pelvis. Control back, drive through. Two more here. One more here. And rest, shake it out, good stuff. Roll the hips. And from here, we're going to go back into our warm-up position. Feet fist gap apart, toes forwards, and side flex. So from here, we're going to come into a lunging position. Now, if you struggle with your knees, grab a pillow or a cushion to stick underneath your knee. Okay, so from here, just going to grab one of my yoga mats. Cool. And what I'm going to do is fold my yoga mat into over 4 times. Place that down on the ground. Okay, I'm going to stick that right knee down into the ground. Then turn that back foot. So big toe to little toe down to the floor. And drive forward on the pelvis. Bring the shoulders back, chest up. And we're just going to be lengthening here, forward and back, keeping the shoulders back, chest lifted. Driving through that extension. Really feel that extension through all these hip flexors. Bring the shoulders back, drop down. Now, as you're doing this, take note of the back foot. From the big toe to the little toe should be square down to the ground. You feel yourself in rock-off position, like I just did. Get your balance back in. Now the front foot, fist gap apart. Imagine there's two railway tracks here. That gap is still here at the front, as if you were standing on it. Lean onto that front leg and allow your hips to just drive forwards and back, getting that lengthening through the front and the top of the thigh. Hip flexor starting to release out nicely. Big toe, little toe down to the floor. Shoulders back, chest lifted. 3 more. 2 more. And release. Coming back off this, change the leg over. Now if you found that was too sore in your knee, chuck another pillow underneath that to give it a bit more support. Again, the feet are still that same fist gap apart, as if they're on 2 railway tracks facing forward. The big toe to the little toe should be down to the ground, the knee tracking forward and back, the pelvis driven forward, the shoulders back into place. Bring the shoulders back, chest lifted. Lean back into it nice and high, shoulders back, chest up. Big toe, little toe down to the ground. And if you can, take a little bit more of a forward step, push forward on the hips, lean back into it. And from there, slowly releasing out. And from there, sitting back onto your heels. Well, thank you very much, Harry. It's not bad. And lift your chest, leaning back and trying to get extension through the front of your hips.
Why are you asking to people?
We're on camera right now, working through the video. So from here, you can bring your hands back beside you and lean back and forward. Harry, go out the way because people can't see what we're doing here. We're exercising. I'll come and join you in a minute. Come and join you and Mummy and James in a minute. Leaning back, chest lifted, just working through, extending back through the hip flexors. Shoulders back, chest lifted up high to the ceiling. Tilting back, slowly controlled. 2 more here. 1 more here. And release. From here, we're going to come back through into a press-up position. Taking that left leg forward, extending the right leg back into our pigeon pose position. Harry, out the way please. Drop down onto your forearms. And from there, resting your fingers down to the floor, palms open, fingers spread out wide. Get a nice big stretch on the lateral side of that hip. And what we're trying to do here is releasing out the lateral side of the glutes, so the glute max medius minimus, all those muscles that help the legs to abduct to the side. From here, we're just rolling slightly and gently, side to side on that hip. Keep the forearms flat down to the floor, fingers webbed open nice and wide. Looking good. Bring your hands flat to the floor, keep the knee through. Unleash and then swap it over to the side. So we're taking the right knee forwards, sitting on the lateral side of that right leg. Big toe to little toe flat down to the floor. We're just allowing a slight rock from side to side here. And I'm going to drop down onto our forearms here. Harry. Thank you. Good boy. Rocking and working here. From there, we're going to web our fingers out nice and wide. Roll from one side to the next. Really good. From there, slowly taking your hands back to the floor, stepping through and taking yourself to standing. From there, we're going to take our feet so they're our fists gap apart. And we're going to hinge and drop down for a nice big stretch to the back of our legs. From there, feel your big toe to your little toe flat down to the floor. From there, we're going to fold our arms with the lengthening through our back. Unfold. Slowly take yourself back through into standing. Interlock your arms over the top of your head. Tilt one to one side. Going back up, tilting to the other side. Harry. And release. Unfold. Drop down. And release. Shaking out. Interlocking the fingers. Roll one way. Roll back the other way. And release. Really, really well trained. Good stuff. Okay, did that live. Do a hashtag live. Did it on replay. Hashtag the replay. And from there, grab yourself a drink of water. Cheers. Really, really well trained. Hope you enjoyed that training session as much as Harry did. See you next time for the next one.
Oh,
Cheers.
Harry. What's he done to his forehead?
Cool.
Bye, Harry.